Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a more realistic guide, and we're going to show gameplay examples and commentate over my current gameplay of maybe not the best round, but also not the worst. And you're going to see some good moments, so you're going to see some rocky moments. So we just posted this short actually yesterday, and if you recognize the gameplay, this is streamed live, so I apologize for the quality. So disclaimer, the footage is not going to be ideal, so I guess even more realistic gameplay because it's not going to be just perfect and pristine. When we're looking at this, the biggest problem that we see here is that we're trying to retreat and reposition as we're getting pushed by another team and we lost our teammate. So we are still pushing another team that is pushing onto us and just giving us a really hard time. We're sandwiched between multiple teams. And I know earlier, and when we posted this short, a lot of people were saying, why are you running? Why are you repositioning? Well, unfortunately, we already were fighting quite a bit. And so what we're going to do is I want to highlight that round specifically where we don't miss any shots. And we're going to pause and freeze frame and talk about understanding when you can push and when you cannot push as Vantage. So this guy almost gets away. And this is where we're going to pause and talk about this scenario. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pause for just a moment and then boom, frozen. Oh my God, that bit rate though. Let's see if we get a better shot. Okay, so we got multiple opponents here, all pretty much lined up. Now, the best way to stop an enemy team is by doing damage. So we know that they're kind of all standing out in the open right now, and we're gonna pressure them to get behind cover so they slow down a little bit. We know we have better armor, but my Loba is one. I'm missing my Bangalore, and we just finished another fight, but we know as well that the person that's rezzing over here is another team, by the way, and you're gonna understand that just a minute whenever we chase them off. We do find out that there's another team located over here. We know that because of this non-stop fighting that has been occurring. All right, so let's just play the clip and we're going to backtrack here in a second. So 150 damage, that person does not peek. Another 150 damage, that person is not going to peek. And then boom. So we're going to pause here. So you're probably asking the question, why don't you push? Well, if we look at the mini map, we're already aware that our teammate has already left, unfortunately. They're already gone. So if I queue forward, I could swing this and get these two people out potentially, but I have two people looking at me, unfortunately, if they're lined up. Now, they're popping a battery, so I essentially have 5 seconds. So let's look at what 5 seconds is. This is 5 seconds, right? So the timing would have to be pretty much immediate. So ready, we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if I queued forward, this person should be at full health. What I was hoping here when I was peeking is that this individual is going to pretty much wide peek and I would get a knock anyways, or somebody would make a mistake. What this is telling me is that this enemy team knows how to take cover, knows how to reposition, and they're very aggro. We've already been fighting, and the other team seems to be of a lower skill level that we're chasing. This one seems to be of a higher skill level. We're going to run into them a little later when we backtrack, but I'm also going to go into the test range and explain how you improve your sniping so you can also get to the level what you see. I don't think it was necessarily anything insane. Of course, I reacted and freaked out about it being insane, but I think that a lot of you could do this and pull this off. That's why I'm doing this commentary. Now, the biggest problem, again, if we wide swing over here on the left, and you see my cursor right there, is that I'm looking at a 2v1. Even if I knock one, the other person may do more damage than the lobe in the back. At this point, because it's been so long, let's go back 5, 10, is definitely, even if they popped a Phoenix kit right away, they're going to be pretty much at full HP. So that's the problem. So whenever you make pushes, you have to do them intelligently and understand what are your odds of winning and what are your odds of losing. There is a very good chance that I could win this, but everything right now is stacked against me, and then later I end up winning this round because I reposition. So again, I removed the commentary because it was just from the live stream. So what we're going to do is skip right here, take a look at this moment, and then we're going to go into the test range. And after, when we go to the test range, we're going to see the lead up to all this and how this pretty much unfolded. So boom, but they don't peek. Nobody peeks whatsoever. Now they kind of do, but they get scared because they realize, okay, well, we can't do that. But once I realize the time frame is ended, it's that internal clock. Once I realize if this team is competent, they all would have batted at this point. And of course, I reposition. The benefit here is that we do end up winning the round. I do get the revive on the teammate. I decided to go for more of a squad play instead of just going in and dying, because at this point, why gamble it, right? We've already got a little bit of momentum, and then I end up running into a team over here anyways, so we knew that we're probably going to get thirded. And I think the Octane, I would need to go through the full VOD, and unfortunately that bullet doesn't go through. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut to the test range right now, and we're going to talk about how you can improve your sniping overall. And my biggest tip that I provide to everyone, and anybody knows me when we play Battlefield and we're #1 sniper, you're going to understand this commentary and why it makes sense. In this portion, we're going to discuss how to improve your sniping as Vantage. I know it's going to be very cliche. I've been asked this question many times throughout the years, even through my Battlefield experience in terms of sniping. It really comes down to not being afraid of failure. you're gonna miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Some advantages when it comes to Vantage, no pun intended, is that what the benefit is, the bullet is massive, okay? The biggest tip I can provide is working on that leading. Now you can work on this as well if you don't want to swap between legends going back and forth over and over, but you can replenish your bullets by swapping between legends. You can replenish them on this, and you can hold ult excels. So get some distance between you and the target and really just keep shooting nonstop over and over and over and over, because that's hands down going to be the best way that you're going to improve. Now, if you don't, again, like if you're just annoyed by swapping screens, you can go over here, you can hit that ult excel over and over again, and you can sit here and then look at a dummy that is as far away as possible. Now, the further away, the more ideal. You'll notice that if you just don't even move your cursor, that you can just hit these targets relatively easy. That's actually a really good tip I can provide, is leading your target. There's different types of shots when it comes to sniping. There is leading, there is flicking towards a spot, and there's also just kind of tracking, right? As you track to where you believe that the bullet's gonna land. See how I'm like just ever so slightly leading? And keep in mind, when it comes to Vantage, because the bullet is so large, you don't necessarily always have to go for headshots, but it does help if you aim more at head level. Some legends, it just comes down to learning the hitbox size, and it can get really annoying and very difficult to do so. But the biggest tip I can provide to you is understanding these three shots. What you can do is flick towards it. So if you flick and you miss, you just keep flicking and you realize, okay, wait a minute, I'm over flicking, then you just kind of adjust it. You don't have to lead as much as you think whenever you're close range, but whenever you're further range, then of course, then you have to lead just a little bit more. And then just keep practicing that. Keep shooting, and don't be afraid to miss. The same thing happens when you understand this leading of how I managed to get all of these snipes and always lead the right shot. Is what I do is I try to line up my cursor here, and the same thing whenever I Valk snipe people out, is I try to track them in a single track, and then I shoot. I know that bullet is really, really large, okay? When that bullet is large, it helps you in terms of understanding its bullet drop and velocity, and then at that point, it's just GG's. So understanding bullet projectile speed and how much you need to lead and bullet drop just comes with practice and just consistently shooting. Shoot, don't be afraid to miss, just keep shooting, just keep flicking even if it's close range, adjust between the zoom going in and out, and that is going to be your best tip I can provide. Another tip while you're here, I'm going to provide, especially when you're on zip lines, you're near it, shout out to Shells, she actually reminded me of this. I do this a lot, but I didn't cover it on my video, is to queue up onto this. And it saves you a little bit of time so you don't get blasted out, because Vantage's hitbox is extremely large. Now what I'm going to cut to next is I want to give you some tips about her broken ability sharpshooter, and we're going to talk about that. I'm sure to get patch notes out, which is why I didn't cover it in full detail. Also, I didn't quite understand it, so I want to break it down. Shout out to G Dolphin for further explaining this, especially for people that are dumb like me. So let's break this down. So shout out to G Dolphin for this one. I was so dumb, I didn't understand this first time around, and I didn't put it in the guide because I'm sure this will get patched, but at the same time, I think it's important for all of you guys to understand. It's incredibly broken, so let's talk about it. What you're gonna do, the first tree doesn't really matter, so let's just pick ring console. The next one, you always wanna go sharpshooter. Sharpshooter, sharpshooter, sharpshooter. Why? Well, I'm gonna show you why. Ready? So let's say I Q away, and then I pull out my gun, and then I shoot, and I can Q away again. Oh, that's crazy. What is going on here? I could just keep queuing and non-stop. Let's have, oh, I can queue again. So you just keep queuing, keep queuing, keep queuing. Now, Vantage just have to hit you, of course, and then it replenishes. This is insane. I didn't even realize this was even happening in game, and I didn't even understand it. It's so broken. You could just leave Vantage out too, so you don't have to put them away. So ready? You're just gonna see shot. I'm gonna queue onto it. Wee, I'm crazy. And then I'm gonna shoot again, and I'm gonna go wee, and we're gonna queue again. Wee, wee. Okay, now let's backtrack and go from the beginning and then recap everything. We're kind of gonna gloss over that one sniping moment, but I thought it was important. You'll notice where I usually land as Vantage is I always look for a beacon and a console. Now the reason why I do that is because ideally if I hit the beacon, and then if I have support or anybody who's hitting other resources, then we hit those harvesters, then we're pretty much chilling and pretty much good to go, and I can hit the console pretty much immediately, and we have blue armor and we have a massive advantage. It's beneficial as well because people tend to land in these areas, so you usually tend to fight right off rip, so that's also a added benefit. Now what you don't want to do to your Vantage is land on them whenever they are near beacon, because the reason why is that they're going to try to hit the beacon, but I end up leaving this POI because my Bangalore just lands right on top of me, unfortunately. So what we do is we reposition, we take this other building, and we do go back and wait to hit the other side of it in just a moment as well. So your rotation and your loop pattern is key. Hopefully, if your teammates do disrupt it, the best thing you can do at this point is go find a new rotation, because at that point, I don't have enough resources. And once I hit the beacon, I'm intending to fight, okay? That's one of the biggest points. I'm intending to fight whenever I do that. So you should be relatively ready. You know, and now there is a caveat. If you do land super late, you could hit the beacon early so you know what your rotation is. Or if you don't plan on fighting at all. But if you know that somebody landed nearby, then when you hit this, it means that the other team knows where exactly you are at, and you can't give them that information because it does scan the radius, and they're gonna, like, at this moment, if there's a team here, everyone's gonna get pinged, bing, boom, everyone knows exactly where you're at, and that's a problem. And we know there's 2 teams here, so that also is a problem. So that's why you pretty much need to be ready as a Vantage, and your rotation needs to be pretty much on point and better than others. And if it is, well, then you'll be rewarded for it. At this point, what I decide to do is cover for my teammates just in case they decide to pretty much entry. And unfortunately, I'm just whiffing. That's okay. Listen, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you got to take the shots, and you got to take a moment to actually go for it, right? That's the best thing that you can do, unfortunately. I know that's not always ideal, but that's how it works. So Vantage's power really comes from her ability to reposition and hold angles. The biggest point that I gave on the Vantage guide is that she can't be really utilized for essentially entry because of her hitbox size. And mostly because if you're doing range pressure, they know exactly where you're at. So your goal is to always try to hide yourself or get the jump on an opponent. So you'll see I do push, but it has to do with information. I know where everyone is at, and I'm waiting for a crack, and I'm waiting for an opportunity. So Vantage really capitalizes on opportunities and moments, and you're going to find that out in a minute. Ready? So once I get this damage here, and then I get that damage there, I know that 2 of them are cracked, and regardless of where my teammates are at, I believe I decide to push. There we go, and then I push immediately. There you go. So don't be shy to push, because I know the 2 of them are isolated on the other end, but if it doesn't work out, then you back up and reposition. There's a few things that I'm lacking information here. 1, the smoke has provided cover. 2, I have an ultimate, meaning my teammates are caught out, and then I don't know if the other teammate is going to switch with them, and so I have to reposition and, again, now find a new angle, which is really unfortunate. But you see that timing and how fast I did decide to push. So because I decided to push, boom, immediately within a 0.5 of a second, that's your moment to strike. Now, the only way to counter a push is by using utility, which is why I highlighted early on, by doing damage, by using your ult, can slow opponents down. But look how hard they actually decided to run away. And I didn't even realize how hard they decided to pull off this. I thought they were just backing up a little bit and looking for information. Because usually when people back up, the technique here is that you're baiting, so then you can turn and then shoot them. Sometimes if they run too far, then it just shows a sign of weakness, meaning that they're not confident in the fight whatsoever. So because they're not confident, one thing that I'm also trying to be wary of is that we did hit the beacon and there was a team on the north side, right? So one thing here, and I think I do go down, but it was because I didn't have a whole lot of energy. And I'm going to explain why I decided to do it. This is a nice angle here. It keeps my hitbox pretty small. You see how constantly when you're moving, you're going from angle to angle and looking for cover to cover. Now, the downside of running into a straight line here is that you are going one after another. And that just kind of sucks whenever you're kind of pushing. I don't have a whole lot of energy, and you're going to see me overcommit because at this point, I don't want to use a sniper for close range. I do have a Havoc, which is beneficial, but you're going to see in just a moment whenever we decide to push. When do you just decide to overcommit? This is when I decide to overcommit because I go through almost every bullet. You saw that I only had 2 left in there, but they're all low. At this point, I actually do communicate to my teammates to say, it's a 2v1, they're low, go, 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 go. And to incentivize them to kind of push this. Now the Bangler gets in, the Loba's a little late, but they do get it. So boom, right? I sacrifice myself. We call this a trade essentially, but the risk of the trade was relatively low because we've done so much damage, and there was, you know, the knocks were already coming, and I didn't even have any more ammo. So at that point, I used myself as a sacrifice to ensure that we win that fight. So that's the trade-off there. That's a risky trade-off because you don't necessarily always want to get knocked, because if you get knocked, the downside really is that there could be a third party, right? There could be the other team about to roll up on us at any second. I think they actually do. But at least we have ammo and we are reset, and there they are. If they came a second sooner, that would have been way better for the opponents here, but I think they hesitated. So because they hesitated, they missed out on the opportunity, and we pushed forward. At this point, we're shoving, and the reason why you could just start shoving relentlessly is because you have the armor advantage. Remember, keep into account, if you do have the armor advantage, are your teammates nearby? And do you know where the opponents are at? And that's also extremely important. You're going to see later a push, and we're going to describe this one. We run into the other team that was hiding, and I actually guessed the right floor in which they're at. And thank God for once, Apex audio actually worked for once. That's kind of crazy. Just by chasing them. If they weren't there, then I would just kept going through another floor. But that's just a hard guess of where you believe that they're going to go. So at this point, we rotate, we keep repositioning. We know my teammates kind of left me, which is unfortunate, but I guess they had confidence I can do it. I did surprise them. Now let's talk about that moment actually. Like, why would I hard commit to finishing this? Mostly because we have the advantage. No pun intended. You have the massive advantage on them, and I catch them out, right? If I didn't catch them out once they did the damage and I got them on the run and the crack, I would probably stop if they managed to get the damage on me. But because I know they're scared and they're showing signs of weakness, they're not using any cover, they're not putting any fire back, I got the jump on them, then it means that boom, you're gonna win pretty much. So kind of gauge that. How much pressure are they putting? How much do they know about you, of where you're at, and how much damage did you deal versus how much damage did they deal? If I went up there and I got hit for 120 and I have no information on what their armor is or anything, granted I'm advantage, so I should know, then I'm probably dropping and repositioning and then hoping my teammates are nearby, right? So kind of gauge that as advantage, because you can be a makeshift entry and you do see me kind of just go for things, but it's because I have information. Now, whenever you're pushing and doing these things, don't be shy either about pushing if you have that benefit. And if you do go down, I mean, sometimes you have to play the odds, right? And you don't be upset if you don't want to play the odds, because by not playing the odds and you're looking for just a different opportunity, okay? Don't let anybody ever flame you if it's not a hesitate, but you're just making an informed decision. So like earlier, whenever we discussed the team, it's an informed decision we're leaving because we've already been fighting quite a bit. So let's slow it down. Let's get the resource to get our team back up and let's win this, right? Or you can push in and I could calmly say that this is a high risk, and I have done that with the teammates. I'm about to do something dumb. You know if it's dumb or smart of what you're going to win and what you're going to lose, right? So kind of play those odds. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing a far off angle for them to get information, because we don't know what's in front of us. And it does secure a bit here, and you're going to see that in a second. Right now we're just looking around trying to look for information. I don't know how that shot, I don't know how that doesn't land. All right, so we got 50. He just staying still for a second. There we go. There's a knock. So positive. So we move forward. But my team is running into somebody, and I don't really know how they got knocked at this point, because it might have been a 1v. It should have been a 1v1 based on the 2 here, but I think there's actually 2 squads based on what's going on. At least the numbers, even reviewing this footage, I'm not, because I don't know, there is a pause here. So there's grenades there. I did knock one and they rezzed them, but the information doesn't add up. I do try to res Drake's missile. Crazy name. But then I hear them up top. And at this point, the only thing I do is reposition, and we get shot from a whole nother angle. And we're just at this point sandwiched. We don't really know what's going on. I don't have information. I don't know how they got knocked in a 2v1 and why they didn't get that knock or what's going on. And this team is just shoving relentlessly. We get the knock, but I reposition and go inside in battery. So batteries are going to be your best advice to pretty much reset hard. When you run out of batteries, then your potential on resets drops, and the ability to push drops as well, because you have to pretty much slow it down and sell. So what I'm hoping to grab here is maybe more batteries, and we don't really know where the other team is. And so once we realize that hear audio, this guy just jumps out of nowhere. Once I heard that audio, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what is he doing there? I even lose track of him. And then I end up seeing a Bangalore over here, and I know that there's an Octane. I don't ever see the Octane get knocked, or maybe they did because of the other team. But at this point, we're on the run, right? We're just trying to reposition. We're trying to get out. We're trying to get a little healthy here. And then we get this knock here. We know that, see his teammate's still alive? We don't know where this Octane went. I still don't even know where they went. They disappeared so quickly, unfortunately. I turn, my goal here is actually just to cover for my Loba. My Loba leaves and is just gone at this point. It would have been nice if the Loba stayed in any sort of capacity, maybe popped a battery, especially after all this damage. I kid you not, I really wanted to capitalize on this, but unfortunately, here we are where we couldn't, and that's just kind of the reality of that situation. It's not much we could have done. So we repositioned, but again, this does lead up into a win, which is why I broke down that moment there, because it's like, okay, well, why didn't you push? Well, again, it's information. Information is key. So I have way too many cells. We've just been speed looting. Unfortunately, whenever you speed loot, sometimes you get too much of one resource, but make sure to clear them out whenever you can later. We try to get this, and I didn't realize you can't shoot between that. And so all we do at this point is just reposition and then fight them. We shove them pretty hard. And I know I want to shove them pretty hard because we've got to get this team out because they're rezzing, and then we don't want 2 full people in the fight, and then that's just a nightmare. So we get them out. Boom, GG's, we got our bats. And then we have another team, and we put pressure on this, but we have to pretty much reposition because I know that there's another team immediately behind us because of the res. And so all we can do is just reposition because we are in nonstop, pretty much action and just trying to get out. And that's difficult. So at this point, we're pinging because at least get the teammate back up. Let's try to get healthy. Because we know there was a team on the left, we know that the res team, and we know there's another team pushing. There's still 6 squads remaining. Nobody's probably in zone, and so I opt for the team play because I see the Loba's running. I'm not gonna 1v5 probably right off the rip, so I slow it down just a little bit and decide, okay, let's go for the team play here. You can play solo. That is an option. It's not impossible to do, but you know, sometimes you got to decide: am I gonna play for the team or am I gonna play selfishly and play for me? And most of the time, the way I play, I personally decide just to play for the team, even if it sacrifices a couple of kills and damage. But at the end of the day, I'm still kill leader. I still got a whole lot of damage, so there's not much to necessarily worry about there. To queue up, and you're going to see right through the choke that a team does pretty much immediately appear. And we're getting to the tail end of the round. If you guys enjoyed this video, again, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. I hope this has been informative. Hopefully it is educational and helpful for you guys. We've landed a lot of Kraber shots. We've also missed a couple Kraber shots. We've had some great moments. I don't think this gameplay is perfect. There's clearly flaws in it in terms of timing. I mean, I'm playing with randoms, which also doesn't help either. But the reason I'm picking this gameplay is you guys reacted to it really well on stream. And the short also got a lot of reactions. So I was like, you know, this is going to be a great gameplay to kind of talk about. So we got 2 teams here. We push this? I think so. Yeah, we do. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. We're an aggro push. We don't have a whole lot of information, but I know that they're playing scared, and I do get a knock. And you're going to see this. I push this by myself, but I'm also really confident by the way that they're playing because I see, okay, the reason I actually pushed it is I thought this was a duo based on the map. So let's go back. Let's pause this and let's review this. Ready? So I look right here on the map, and I see for 2 seconds based on the information that I have. This is really, really important. So we're going to 3, 2, 1, and let's see if I pause. I'm going to capture it. There you go. So if I zoom in on that, you see how I only see 2 there? I really believe that there is 2 in that building. So let's skip ahead a little bit. I knock one, and this is a re-knock. At this point, the reason I shove it is because I think I can get that other guy, and I'm really confident because I have a turbocharged Havoc. I have a Kraber. Even if they're rezzing right now, they should be up just in time, which they are. These guys were fast on the res. I got the re-knock, which is perfect. Now, the downside here is I get this guy, and I knock him, but I was like, wait a minute, there's a third, and I reposition, but luckily my teammates are here, and all I'm doing is just buying a little bit of time, and once I realize I don't actually go for the heal, partly because I know that my teammates are going to, initially, I pause it. I think I stop it. No, I do commit to it. I thought I paused on the heal, but because my teammates, I'm pretty sure have it, I'm not really worried. And sometimes you can opt away from the heal. Now, another thing I do as Vantage is I take height immediately and I put pressure on enemy teams. I don't loot right away as Vantage because I can get to height and I can reposition and I could get the information as I completely lose my voice and can't talk anymore. You see how I'm able to cash them out? Any Vantage, a fantastic tip is always take height and position and catch opponents out, okay? I can't stress that enough. Yes, you need loot, but you're the one. I can't believe I kept whiffing that. I think I get this guy on the cross. Oh, yeah, we do. GG's. And then we decide to push because I got the advantage. And I see my teammate move forward on it. So, of course, we're going to aggress on that right away. We have to. There's no reason not to aggress at this point. We have to get them out. I'm pretty sure that guy's going to get him. He does. And then I reposition. And I think I hear audio. I think one of them came over here because it was a Seer and a Bangalore. And that was a Gibraltar. I decide to loot. And then I think I get shocked because somebody decides to run up on me here in a second. Again, height, information. Big problem, my loot pool, I have way too many cells, never have that many cells. The max I would normally run would be 12, and the reason why my loot is so bad at the moment is partly because, again, we're just nonstop fighting and I'm moving from fight to fight to fight to fight. Now, all we got to do is keep looking around, look for opponents. I don't see him, but I do hear him. Okay. I was like, I just noticed in the VOD that he was there. but I didn't see him immediately. And then this guy's a solo. The power of Vantage is knowing if teams are duos, solos, and so forth. You know, realistically, on the other team, I shot the Kraber shot so fast I didn't register that it was a full team, and that was also a mistake. So there you go. See how the gameplay isn't perfect and there are mistakes? Now, there is a team on height, and there's also a team elsewhere. They get the revise or reposition. Right now, what we're looking for is an opening, and just to make sure we don't get any knocks on us, and that we are healthy and playing as a squad. I don't recommend as a Vantage being hunkered inside of a building. You never want that. Even in ranked, even in competitive settings, you want to be able to occupy and command space best you can, because your mid to long range is going to be your greatest weapon. When you are, I hope to God that you have a pretty good Watson, Caustic, Rampart, or Catalyst to really hunker you down and save you essentially in a building. So now this is the last one, guys. It pretty much wraps up here. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Easy win. Played patient, pretty much non-stop action, going from fight to fight and pushing and then fighting, and then we did end up getting that team out that I did hit for 150. So hopefully this is educational. Hopefully you learned a lot from this. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Actually, on the Soar Apex channel, I'm going to cover also another gameplay in rank that I look forward to sharing with you all. So good damage here, 3,400, 9 eliminations. Could have been better. But hey, listen, it wasn't bad overall. We had some moments, right? Thank you guys again. See you guys all in the next one.